Hi, welcome back to Metal Rules TV, where the underground meets the playground. I'm Jeff Rappaport.
Matt Gibbons.
You guys are?
I'm John McEnteeand.
I'm Kyle Severn.
I'm Edu of NervoChaos.
And you are definitely the guest that's come the farthest.
I guess.
We've never had anybody.
Yeah, it took me the longest to get here.
Yeah. Not just from New York, but you're from another country.
I know, that's why probably, yeah. But yeah, it's a pleasure being here, you know. Such a high-class show. It's looking great. Love it.
I was so excited that you knew about my past, the Metal Rules magazine.
I guess we traded some letters back in the days.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I was really active in that.
I know. And some flyers, we spread flyers, and yeah, the fanzine scene, the real scene.
Yeah.
From what I take. Nowadays, I see a lot of YouTube headbangers, you know.
Yeah, not this stupid YouTube show like this. Yeah, this show's YouTube.
No, it's not that, but it's just kids, instead of going to concerts and really supporting the fucking scene, they just sit home and think they're headbangers watching YouTube, you know. And that's not really the real scene, for me at least.
Now, I did some research. I did some research on you, and I was looking, and I found an interview with you.
All right.
With somebody named Sweetie Bird.
Yeah.
So why did you tell me about the Sweetie Bird? She's a porn chick?
Yeah, it's a porn site from Brazil, and they're opening for metal bands now, you know, which I think it's an interesting combination, you know. It was a pretty good interview, actually. Sweetie is a sweet, you know, girl, and and she's a porn star, you know. Can't go wrong with that. And but it's pretty interesting, you know. She didn't know nothing about metal at all, so we started to kind of introducing, you know, what's metal about.
I was trying to follow it, but
it's all in Portuguese.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, fucked up, I know.
That's actually, I was going to ask you a question about that. Is do you ever get frustrated that you speak perfect English?
Thanks.
I mean, we're having
That's right.
no
Better
problem.
than we do, actually.
Right, much better than they. Yeah, really, for sure.
That's right.
Do you ever get frustrated that Americans don't give enough a try like you do? Like you know our language perfectly, but we come over there and we're like,
I know.
no food.
Yeah, he knows some Portuguese.
He knows 3 words.
And he knows Spanish for sure. You know.
We're PP.
We're PP, yeah. But no, not really. I don't feel frustrated. You know, I love languages. I love traveling. I love meeting people. I think that's the beauty of being in a band. You know, it's just meeting the people and you know, doing some traveling and getting to know the worldwide metal family. That's the beauty of it, in my point of view.
Yeah, and from what these guys tell me is that you're the guy to come see when you guys play out in South America.
Yeah, I've done my duty, you know, for the Brazilian scene. I've been doing booking for Brazil's for 17 years already, you know. Totally dedicated to the extreme metal scene, only death, black, some trash metal, but I quit that. And so try to do something for my scene, you know. I decided to because in Brazil back in the days you had only big promoters doing the big guys, you know, big names like Black Sabbath or Metallica, Slayer. And as a metal fan, I wanted to go to concerts, you know, and see other bands. So I decided to start booking, you know, the real underground and the bands I like, and that's how I started in the business. It's in '96.
You were really one of the first to do underground bands.
Yeah. I think the only crazy one that fucking believes on
you had to do it when everybody was novice down there.
Yeah.
You know, all the promoters, they weren't even used to doing international bands.
Yeah, actually, you know, the Christian guys, they helped me a lot when I started. You know, I worked for Christian for almost 10 years. And we helped each other, we learned a lot, and at a certain point I decided to do something for my scene, my country, you know, because instead of sitting and complaining at home, you gotta step up to the plate and do something about it, you know.
Right.
And that's how I started, and it's been a fun ride, you know. I'm meeting some awesome people, I'm seeing awesome live bands, and now Brazil, it's on the true route, you know. All the bands are going down to South America, which makes me happy, you know. I can leave my place and go watch some death or black metal show, which which was my goal when I started, you know, just to get a chance to, like you guys here or in Europe, you know, you go to venues and you see the bands, you know.
Yeah. There wasn't that before then.
Yeah, there was nothing before that, you know. There was 1-2 concerts a year maybe in Brazil, you know, from big bands only.
Yeah.
And now the ball is rolling, which makes me happy, you know. We got concerts every month, and maybe people don't have enough money to attend all the concerts, you know, but it's getting better, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys have those, here in America we have those Brazilian barbecue places.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's Brazilian barbecue and it's like all you can eat meat and then like a giant salad bar.
Yeah,
That's like,
meat on swords.
that's like,
Yeah.
that's like forever. Is that the way it is in Brazil or is that?
Yeah, I think John can tell you a bit
Yeah.
more about it, you know. or
Yeah,
guys.
every time we go down there, we bug him to go there all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And
It's a
Angelica, yeah, there you go, yeah.
It's a dream come true.
It is,
It's
like,
if you're into meat and food and just it's
Where they come with the skewers and they
Oh.
go filet mignon and they go.
Jeff is into
Yeah.
meat.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, they bring all different parts of the cow or pig or chicken or whatever
Yeah, they have
wild
these really
animals
cool
they have.
cheese balls.
Yeah, they have cheese balls, they have salad bar, buffet. And
Yeah.
It's all you can eat. It's like being back to Roman Empire, you
It is,
know,
yeah.
and eating.
Do you have a throw up place in the back where you just like vomit?
Hey, you
go
can
eat
go
or-
there and throw up and start again. That's my
Yeah.
tip to those guys, you know, just
yeah.
go to the bathroom,
We'll just be
puke.
bulimic for a day.
Yeah. Just keep it all the time.
But seriously, it's awesome. The cuts of meat there are phenomenal. They just taste
But there's
so
several in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, there's Rhodesian.
Yeah, several ones.
Yeah.
I went to one. Was it up in Canada? You went? Yeah.
Fogo de chão.
Yeah, and it was
Fogo de
good,
chão,
but
yeah.
it wasn't quite as good as the Brazilian one. But I think
Yeah.
the cattle's raised differently in Brazil than it is
Probably.
in the U.S.
You guys have much
More
sexier
natural.
cattle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way hot.
Yeah. the way they taste, that's one hot cow.
It is.
Yeah,
But it's everywhere. It's Brazilian style, you know how we call it. The rodizio, it's like basically that kind of
Right, it's
restaurant,
cooked in
you
the
know.
spits and the
Yeah, they bring the meats and swords, like John said, you know.
and the
It's-
mojitos.
Yeah, that's more Mexican, but yeah.
Yeah, them too. I don't know. I'm just going by what I've been to.
No, it's good.
Right, that's why I
man.
asked
It's
you about it
good.
because
know it, yeah.
I had never that's the first time I've been to a situation like that where like Brazilian food is like, oh, Brazilian food is just like lots of meat on a steak and
It's
like
great.
and a humongous salad bar
Yeah.
the size of Texas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all you
I'm
can
saying,
eat,
nothing wrong with that.
and yeah, nothing wrong. I
Yeah.
agree.
The Brazil has some of the best food, I think.
Yeah,
in
we're
the world.
spoiled, and it's
Yeah.
cheap, you know, compared to the prices
Oh,
here.
yeah.
It's pretty cheap for us,
Yeah, what would
and
you-
for you guys, it's
Yeah.
even cheaper, you know.
so you've been to America and you've been to Brazil. What would you say the best parts of Brazil are and the worst parts, and the best parts of America and the worst parts?
I think there's assholes everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Basically that, you know. It doesn't matter if in Europe, or Brazil, or
Yeah.
USA, you can meet cool people, and there's the assholes, you know. And Brazil has its dark side and the beautiful side, like the US, I guess, or like Europe, or like everywhere, you know. São Paulo is a big town. We have like 18 million people living in the city,
That's a
so
lot.
it's pretty big. And you know, if you go up north, it's like the U.S. It's a big country, and there's different parts of Brazil. If you go up north, it's a different Brazil, you know. If compared to the south, where there's more like Germans and Polacks and Ruskies and all that, you know.
Yeah, the north is almost more like native kind of. I don't know what you could call
Yeah.
it.
It's like the north kind of froze in time, you know. Those guys, they don't get to see a lot of shows, so they really freak out. They're very
Oh, the crowds are
passionate.
awesome up there.
Yeah.
They're very passionate, you know. Something maybe the south part of Brazil, it's a bit spoiled because they get to see lots of bands, and maybe you have the same situation in US or
Like
Well,
No,
I
we're,
don't know.
we're spoiled here.
yeah.
New York City.
Yeah,
is
we're
like
totally
LA.
fine here. Nobody cares.
We're
Or
very
maybe if
excited
you
in New York
see
City.
Eastern Europe and regular
yeah,
Europe,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
there's a huge difference
They're
on
definitely-
crowd wise and how people handle, especially metal. You
When
know?
they're starved for metal too.
Yeah. So it's a huge country, you know, and I love everything. I love traveling. I love the metal community, you know. For me, it doesn't matter if it's Europe, US, Brazil, South America, Colombia. I don't give a shit. If it's metal and it's good, works for me, you know.
Now, how did your friendship with these two crazy kids come about?
Those guys, I booked them first time in what, 2000
2001, I think it was.
or 2001,
something like that. Yeah.
and then we got along, you know.
yeah, it's just had a
It
fun-
works, you know. It's I don't know. There's no reason. It's just chemistry, you know. It works. I love Incantation music and everything, you know. They've been doing for the scene, you know, and it's for me. It's always an honor to meet such, you know, warriors like those guys, you know, or funerals. Jill later on, you know, we met Jill. I was it
Yeah.
what 2005 or
Was it 5?
4 or something.
5 or 6. It was the one.
Yeah, with Dark Funeral.
Funeral,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I only do bands I like, you know, and my friends recommend. They're not assholes, you know, because you can get fucked in the scene, you know. There's
Oh, for
some
sure.
there's some scumbags in some, you know, bands, and when you're in Brazil, you really don't know. You just listen to the albums or CDs, and oh, they sound cool, but
You don't know.
you know,
how
it's
cool
not
they are.
it's not all about that. You know, you need
Right.
to know if they're cool, if they're professional, easy to work with, and those guys are ultra cool. You know, and fuck, love Incantation.
It was great.
Me too.
It was great.
That live album's fucking
Yeah,
great.
the first time we went down to Brazil, it was just awesome because there really wasn't a lot of, you know, old school death metal bands
Yeah.
that really ever went to Brazil besides, you know, like he said, like really, you know, bigger size bands. So
Yeah.
it was a really fun time, and yeah, we just all got along good, and the shows were great, the people were great. It was just
Yeah.
a fun time, you know. We had a fun time going to the Metal Galleria back then, you
Yeah.
know. It was a
And those guys been everywhere. I mean, we went up north, you know,
Yeah.
to south, central Brazil. We did some crazy
and we
shit.
did, and we did it like it was fun because we kind of did it the old school way.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it wasn't like a really fancy tour. Was it?
No.
Because we knew that we were doing something for the first time for
It was
us, and
hardcore,
it was still back before everything on your end was developed 100% because
yeah.
it was still early on in your career.
I
too.
learned. I grew up,
But,
yeah,
it
it's
was
true,
fun
yeah.
though. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it was a great experience. And every time we go there, we always have such a good time. And the people are just so appreciative, and they really.
Yeah.
It seems like
They're
they really,
passionate.
They
you
feel
know?
the
yeah,
music.
they're
you
Very
know.
passionate.
And
yeah.
you don't really. I mean, there's people in other parts of the world that are into it too, but in the States sometimes you don't really have those people, as many people that are like
Yeah.
have that die hard feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, when I was a kid, I was really into the bands
Yeah.
I liked. You know,
Yeah.
like Venom or something. I was just
Yeah.
like, you know, it's just
It's like,
yeah, you just like get that feeling
yeah,
like ah,
yeah, that's true.
you
That's
know?
true. It's very
And that's the
passionate,
way
yeah.
the Brazilian people are. They feel it in their soul, which is
Yeah.
the way metal's supposed to be. It's supposed to be
Right.
a true expression of
Indeed,
yourself. You
indeed,
know.
yeah.
Plus,
On, on that note, I wanted to just take a quick break and
Yeah.
come back right back.
All right.
Okay.
You just wanted to interrupt.
Absolutely not. I have something to say. Like, nah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
No, they can tell you.
Wanna go
What did I
here?
think?
No,
All right.
I mean,